Hey guys, this is Mrs. Hardman, and welcome to Lesson 2 of our Statistics and Probability unit in Advanced Math. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Our biblical correlation we've already talked about from Luke 6, and that when receiving information, when evaluating data, we need to dig down to the truth of the data. We need to find out if it's valid, if it's correct. We can make numbers say whatever we want. And so we, as consumers of information, need to not just accept things at face value. We need to evaluate the truth behind them. We need to do that both spiritually, as Jesus makes an analogy of in Luke chapter 6, so that our foundation is firm and our beliefs are firm. But outside of the spiritual realm, any information that we receive, we should always be considering whether it's true and what evidence or what basis is there behind the truth of this information. Our specific objective for today is that you will identify a group of objects, again, as population or as a sample. We actually did that in our first lesson. So today we're going to focus on this second part, finding the range, mean, median, and mode for a set of data. All right, let's very briefly review the difference between statistical and non-statistical data. So non-statistical questions might be things like how tall is John, or what is Mary's age, or who is the highest paid member of an association. That's just a straight up answer, right? John is 6 foot tall. Mary is 40 years old. A statistical question is when we're gathering data. We're gathering a lot of information about a population or about a sample, like how tall is John's class, the people in John's class, what's the average height for John's class, how old are her friends or the average age of her friends, and what's the average pay of an employee. So they're gathering a lot of this information and not just one person's definitive answer or number. So non-statistical questions have one answer, while statistical questions have an answer that varies. This makes it necessary when we're taking statistical questions to find what we call central tendencies. We need to find these tendencies to summarize the collection of many different answers to our questions. If we, survey 5,000 people, we don't want to publish an article with 5,000 different answers. We want to summarize kind of the tendency that the audience or that the survey group or that the sample was answering. And so we do have some measures of central tendency, the mean, median, mode, and range that we are going to be talking about today. It's a little bit difficult to see here, but it says this: to find a central value, when you have two or more numbers, it's nice to find a value for the center to kind of summarize the middle of those values here. With two numbers, the answer is easy. We just go halfway between the numbers. So if we wanted to know what's the central value for 3 and 7, halfway between 3 and 7 is 5. We tend to call this the average, that halfway in between number there. We can calculate it by adding 3 and 7 and dividing the result by 2. So 3 plus 7 divided by 2 is 5. Now you could probably do that without any calculations because you're familiar with the numbers 3 and 7 and you've got that number line in your head. So you can very quickly tell that halfway between 3 and 7 is 5. But for larger numbers or numbers that you're not as familiar with, or maybe numbers that are farther apart on the number line, you may need to use the calculation of adding and then dividing by 2. If we have 3 or more numbers, we can use this same idea. The central value of 3, 7, and 8, well, we can calculate it by adding 3, 7, and 8, and then we divide the results by 3 because we had 3 add-ins or 3 numbers or 3 values that we were adding. So 3 plus 7 plus 8 is 18, divided by 3 gives us a central value of 6. And notice that we divided by 3 because we had 3 numbers. You guys are familiar with this concept. When you get quizzes and tests back, you know that teachers will add up those multiple assignments, those quiz scores, those test scores. They'll divide by the number of assignments that you have to get your central value, which ends up being your actual grade. All right, let's talk some definitions here. The range of a set of data is the difference between the largest and the smallest numbers in any set. So if we had, for example, a bunch of test scores or quiz scores, let's say you've gotten some scores in this class and maybe you got one that you didn't do so great on and you got like a 47 on a quiz. But then maybe you got, an 85 and then you got a 93 and then you got several 100s in there because you turned your homework in on time. So the range for this set of data would be the difference between this number and this number, the lowest and the highest. And it would tell us then kind of the boundaries for our data, that we're not going to go any lower than 47 and we don't go any higher than 100. And we do find the range by subtracting. So if we took 100 minus 47, we would get a range of 53 points in this case if we're talking about your grades. Our mean is another value when we're trying to find our central values. The mean is the arithmetic average of a set of numbers, the sum of data divided by the number of addends or data. Previously, when we were adding the 6, the 8, and the 10, I think the three numbers are 5, 7, and 8, I can't remember, we were finding the average. We added all the numbers and we divided by the number of addends. And when we find your grades for you as a student, what we are finding is actually the mean or the average of your grades. So your final grade in math is not, you got a bunch of 100s, so you just get 100. It's we take all of your grades and we divide it by the number of grades there. The median is the middle number in a set of data, arranged numerical order. So again, I don't remember the exact numbers had, but previously we had like a 47, 85, 90, 93, 100. Okay, so the mean or median is going to be the number that's in the middle. Well, if I start here and I count to the middle and go this way, meet in the middle, the number that's right in the middle of that set of data is then 90. Think about the median in your road. It divides the two sides of the roads there, the left side from the right side, and the median kind of divides your numbers on the left from your numbers on the right. It's right there in the middle. If there is an even number of data, then the median is the average of the two middle numbers. So let's say I stuck another 100 on here. Now I've got 6 numbers. Both of these numbers are right in the middle now. And so I've got to find the average between these two. Between 90 and 93 would be a 91.5. So that's going to be my median in that case. Right, the mode is the one that occurs the most. So mode and most, the most frequently in a set of data. So again, if we go back to the scores, I think I had 47, 85, 90, 93, and then 2 100s here. Our mode in this case is actually the 100. It is the grade that occurred the most. Now, wouldn't that be nice if that's what your grades were decided on? The mode, you might have 8 100s because you turn your homework in on time and just 147. Wouldn't that be nice if we go, you had the most 100, so that's your grade for the class. But unfortunately, that's not how grades work. The mode is the number that occurs the most. If there's not a number that occurs more than once, if they're all just occurring one time, then there is no mode. Data sets can also have more than one mode. If there are 2 modes, we would call this bimodal. So we do have to be careful with mode. It can be tricky. If there's more than one mode, again, if there's 2, we call it bimodal. If there's 3 or more modes, we might call it multimodal. If you take a look at this set of data, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, you see that both 4 and the 6 occur twice. So they are both modes. They're the ones that appear the most, and so we call this bimodal. So just be careful. There can be more than one mode. There cannot be more than one mean or median. There is just one of those. All right, so to refresh, mean is the average, the median is in the middle, and the mode is the one that appears the most. A little memory trick there. All right, let's do some practice now and find the range, mean, median, and mode of the following set of data. First things first, we want to arrange our numbers in order from least to greatest. This will help us when we get to find the range and the median. And I can look at the set of numbers and say it is not in order. So we can list it. They did greatest to least. I might organize them least to greatest. It doesn't matter as long as you've got your numbers in order there. We can now find the range, which is just our highest value and our lowest value, the difference between them. Difference means subtract. So our range is 10 minus 3 or 7. So we've got a range of 7 here. Our mean is the sum of the data divided by the total numbers here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 8 digits that we've added. So we've got to take our sum, which is 53, and then we've got to divide that by 8. And 53 divided by 8 is approximately 6.6. That's our mean. Let's go back to these numbers again. Our median, again, we want to have our numbers listed in order, either from greatest to least or least to greatest, and we want to find the one in the middle. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My middle is right here, and there's not a number right here. So I've got to average these two numbers. So the average, or halfway between 6 and 7, is 6.5. Or 7 plus 6 divided by 2, 6.5. And last but not least, we want to find our mode, the one that appears the most. I can see that I've got 2 7s, I've got 2 6s, so both 6 and 7 are my modes. So this is a bimodal set of data. All right, let's try another one. Find the range, mean, median, mode of the following set of data. Again, it's not in order, so we want to list that in numerical order. This time we'll list it from least to greatest. And let's start with our range first. Again, the range is the difference between the highest value and the lowest value. Difference just means subtract. So we find that our range is 22. Our mean is the sum of the data divided by the number of add-ins. So we've got our sum is 427, and I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces of data, 9 numbers there. So we're going to divide that by 9 and find that our average is approximately 47.4. We are rounding there, so we've got to use that approximate. After we found our mean, let's talk about our median. Again, let's put our numbers in order. We find the one that's in the middle. Now, because there was an odd number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 from the beginning and 5 from the end puts us right here, and the middle. Median is, in fact, 45 there. And our mode is the one that's repeated the most. Just looking at it, I don't have any numbers that are repeated more than once, so there is no mode. Now, most of the time, we're not just going to get a set of numbers. We're going to be given data in a chart or a table or something like that. So it might look like this. Some temperatures here. We're taking a look at the weather, setting some temperatures. It's a little cold on this weather chart here. And we want to find the range, mean, median, and mode of the temperatures. All right, starting with the range. Range is just our highest value and our lowest value, the difference between the two. And I see my highest was 29 and my lowest is 19. So we can use that information to say that our range in last week's temperatures was a 10-degree range. That's not too fluctuating. I know just making this video today, the high for today is 40 degrees, I think, and then the high for Tuesday is 72. It's a range of 32 degrees, which is a really big difference when we're talking about temperatures, but sometimes that happens in the spring. We go from these really cold to these really warm days. If we wanted to find the average for the week or the mean for the week, we would sum up our temperatures, 161, and divide that by the number of days, in this case 7. And so we get our average temperature for the week was 23 degrees. And we use average temperatures a lot when we're talking about forecasting the weather, or when we're looking at historical temperatures, we'll refer to the average temperature. Instead of listing every single temperature for every single day, we might say the average temperature for March is 23 degrees. And that's how we arrive at that number. Our median, again, comes from the value that's right in the middle. We've got an odd number. So 7 is just 1, 2, 3. This fourth value in, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we land right here in the middle at 22 degrees for our median. So our median in this case was a little bit lower than our mean. And our mode is the one that appears the most. And in this case, our mode was 25 because it appeared twice. Now, normally, when we're giving data, whether we're talking about temperatures or whether we're talking about your grades or whether we're talking about your grade point average or we're talking about athletes and their shooting percentage, what we're using is the mean, all of the numbers, and then we divide that to get an average or mean. That's probably what we use the most as far as our measure, our central value. There are times, though, that the median or the mode would be preferable when we are summarizing data, but mean is probably the one that gets used the most often. I went backwards there. All right, let's take a look at this example. We're going to use this data to solve the following problems here. We've got this set A and set B, two different sets of numbers, and we want to arrange the data for each set in ascending order. So least to greatest, there we go, and it's done. After we have those two